you shouldn't be a match with every single person that you date.
At a certain point, you don't want to lose them. And so your behavior starts to become centered around like, how do we make this work? If you're in a situationship, it's because it's working for them. They do not want a relationship at this point in time.
Well, hey, Kimberly. Yes. Let me just say this. Yes, I know. Kimberly was just dealing with me and all my excitement. I was like, I had to actually tell myself, calm down, because I was already so excited even before we're pressing record. Okay, so hi. Hi, Kimberly.
Hi.
All right, you guys, I have a treat for you today. Oh my goodness. I'm talking to Miss Kimberly. And before I even get going, I'm going to just take a moment. I'm going to read her bio so you guys know exactly who Miss Kimberly is. And then she's going to tell us a little bit about herself too. But let me go ahead and read the bio first. Okay, Kimberly, we're going to do that first.
I love it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, guys, I'm telling you, this is going to be such a treat. Okay, here we go. I had it ready. Sorry about that. Okay. Today, I have the honor to welcome Kimberly Rae, a dating coach who specializes in helping people ditch situationships, date with confidence, and attract more aligned love. She's been featured in publications like Vogue, Newsweek, and Daily Mail, and is the founder of her signature program, Stitch Savvy. Kimberly started her career as a matchmaker, but soon realized that the deepest transformation happens when people work on their beliefs, patterns, and communication in relationships. She now helps clients heal past hurts, set healthy boundaries, and build secure, lasting connections. Over her career, she's helped thousands of clients move from frustration and heartbreak into self-awareness, empowerment, and loving relationships. Her approach is rooted in emotional insight, boundary work, and practical strategies that actually work in real life. Please join me in welcoming Kimberly Rae.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know what you would say. I didn't provide you with a bio, so it's always fun to hear. I love that.
Did we get it right overall? Did we get it right?
Oh, great. Thank you.
Well, Kimberly, I just want to say something right now. I don't know. I mean, I know this is the work that you're doing. You're really helping people with situationships and alignment and really tackling all that. And personally, I just want to say, I feel like it has been such a phenomenon, like this whole confusion in these situationships and how disempowering it is. And I talk to so many people, and often, people are truly longing for real connection, real relation, the healthy relationship, Kimberly, but they keep finding themselves in these situationships, because I don't even know like when that word even got coined, because it's a thing. It's a real thing. So can we start there?
Yeah.
What are situationships? Let's talk about that.
Situationships are almost relationships, right? Like it's the murky in between. They're undefined. There's no clear boundaries. There's not a lot of clear communication. And so you don't really know what's going on, right? It's somewhere in the middle. Maybe it resembles some aspects of a relationship, but it's fairly far from commitment.
Right.
And so I think the trickiest part of situationships is they do look like real relationships sometimes.
Okay.
But then it has that inconsistency, that push-pull, the power dynamics that get people stuck and also get people really confused.
Very confused. And usually with situationships in general, and based on kind of what you just said right now, if someone's in a situationship, what normally ends up happening?
Well, I've seen people stay in situationships for years.
Wow.
Yeah, I've seen people stay in situationships for a couple months, and the other person that wasn't wanting to commit ends up, abruptly ending the connection. Or maybe the person that wants commitment ends up kind of reluctantly ending and walking away because they know that it's never going to go anywhere. But I've seen people stay stuck for quite some time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So in these relationships that kind of a little bit on the outside look like relationships, but one or the other is really not, would you say, just really not fully in, not fully in?
Yep.
Okay. So there's something. So let's talk about that. So in general, in situationships, what is going on with the person? Is it something like, I know that's a big question, but overall, what is happening? So, well, you know what I mean? Like, what's happening to us when we start getting in situationships and we're thinking, oh, we're in a relationship, but we know we're really not, but we're kind of hoping we are. And then, like you just said, and then it just keeps going on and on and on. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much here.
Woo!
Yeah, there's so much here, but let's break it down.
Okay.
This is so good. Okay. So essentially, two people, start in the dynamic.
Okay.
Usually there's not a lot of clear communication at the beginning, and there's a lot of assumptions being made by one or both people. The person that is relationship minded goes in assuming that the other person is relationship minded because they are, right? And so if they're going on dates, if they're getting more emotionally intimate, if they're getting physically intimate, if the relationship's progressing in any way, that must mean they want commitment just like I do. But somewhere along the way, whether that's right at the beginning where the other person was never intending to enter a relationship, or they come to decide that they don't want a relationship with that person, they start to pull back. There's like a push-pull where they give a little because they're getting something out of the dynamic, whether it's, emotional or physical,
Right.
or just it feels good to be with that person. They like the person, right? It's not always malicious. But they're kind of in it, but like you said earlier, one foot in, one foot out. And so the other person is reading that as, okay, what is happening? Like some days it really seems like they are all in, they want a relationship. And some days I don't hear from them, or it's been a week and they're too busy to see me. And it just creates a lot of anxiety.
Yes, I'm getting anxiety just
end.
listening.
Yeah, just I know I can be a little anxious. And by the way, maybe we'll get into it later, but I've been in situationships. So
yeah, no, we are going to get into that. We are definitely going to get into that. Yeah,
but you start to kind of have this stress response because they're breadcrumbing, they're giving a little, then pulling back, and then coming back in a big way, and then pulling back again, and you're just like getting kind of pushed and pulled, and you're really like riding that roller coaster.
Yes, that's what it sounds
meanwhile,
like.
Oh yeah, and then physically, like actually within your body, there's a process called intermittent reinforcement that's going on, where when you kind of get a little breadcrumb and then they pull back and come back, your body is responding. Like the reward centers in your brain are pinging, and you're actually craving that next hit of dopamine, that next reach out, that next engagement. And so you literally become addicted. And it's the same process. Yeah, it's wild. It's the same process casinos use with the slot machines.
Okay, talk about that.
It's that, you play, you get a reward, you win big, but then you don't win again for a while.
You got to go back for more. You got to keep going back for more.
You got to go back for more. It's completely inconsistent. You don't know when the next like hit of dopamine is coming, but when you do get it, it feels so good. And if anyone has been in the situation, you know how it feels to see their name light up on your screen after not hearing from them for a couple days. It feels like you just won the lottery.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, you just gave me some chills. No wonder. No
Yeah.
wonder. Because okay,
Mhm.
okay, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, we're gonna take this back a little more. So
Mhm.
what I'm hearing, like I said, what I'm hearing often are women truly desiring, to be in a committed relationship. But like, I love that you just said that, like the breadcrumbs, but they're
Mhm.
also not having that confidence
Mhm.
to really allow themselves to see if, like, is the guy really, pursuing them, want to be with them? Are they really showing them? What is happening there? What happened in the dating dynamics and the casualness of it to where it's getting
Mhm.
to the point that it's we're in these situationships and it's so disempowering. It's just so
Mhm.
disempowering. And there's this confusion. Why did that shift? Is it because of us as individuals, women, or is it the men? Like, what's going on? What are we doing?
Well, that's such a good question. There's definitely a power dynamic going
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Um, because the person that wants the relationship is starting to fall for the other person, right? And so at a certain point, once you've fallen for them, especially once you've gotten intimate, at a certain point you don't want to lose them. And so your behavior starts to become centered around like how do we make this work, right? There's an end goal rather than
Oh,
rather
yes.
than let me communicate and get clear because there's something weird going on, and obviously, they're pulling back, and it's like I know something's off, but if my end goal is to get into a relationship, I don't want to do anything that's going to push them away even more. It's already a fragile dynamic, and so I think it's really easy to stay quiet. It's really easy to kind of be calculated, not in a malicious way, but start to calculate. Okay, how can I how can I kind of shift their behavior towards what I ultimately want, which is that relationship. Um, and so, yeah, if everything that we're doing is trying to get them to be in a relationship with us, it it kind of puts us in the less powerful position, I guess you
Yes.
could say, because the
Yes.
person holding the power is the person that cares
That's
less,
right.
right? The
That's right.
person that can totally just walk away and might be more unaffected while you're left just completely in shambles because now you're kind of addicted to that person, you're addicted to that dynamic, and yeah, they kind of hold your emotional state in their hands essentially.
And what's fascinating is that I see how this can happen so easily.
Mhm.
And it happens to so many of us. It
Yeah.
just really does. And then the reason also why I was like, oh my goodness, this conversation needs to happen. Because the reality is, even though it can easily happen and it's happening to so many of us, that's truly genuinely what people don't want. They don't want it. So they're like, how did I end up in a situation? I always thought I was an
Mhm.
empowered woman and now I'm in a situationship. So let's break this
Mhm.
down a little more. So let's talk about you. Because I know
Mhm.
that this is what you actually do now. And I know you've helped so many people. And I know that you understand it not just based on all the work that you've done and all the people that you've helped and how you've been able to do that, but your own personal experience. So
Mhm.
take me back a little bit. When you grew up and you decided, you wanted to, go out, and I don't know if you fancy the boys early on or you fancy, the boys a
Mhm.
little, you're like late bloomer. We all have our different times. Take me back. Tell me how it was for you. So I really want to know how you got into the situation yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So taking it back, let's start in high school because that's where things were really shifting for me in my family and stuff. So my parents were going through a divorce my senior year of high school.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
and so that I think was a really interesting time for that to be happening because I was going into college, and um, I was very aware of relationship dynamics. I was in a long-term relationship from high school and then carried it into
Okay.
some of college.
Okay.
Always have been a hopeless romantic, always wanted like close relationships. And so um, I think that kind of made me a little bit more aware of like really wanting serious relationships. I was not open to casual. But I think it kind of, in a sense, made me a little naive, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if naive is the right word, but naive to the fact that maybe other people aren't relationship minded like I am.
That's good.
Not everyone
Yeah.
thinks the same way that I do. They're not pursuing the same things, especially in college. I mean, college boys are just messing around and having fun for the most part. And so I was kind of getting into, after that relationship, after another serious relationship, kind of getting into the dating scene for the first time in my 20s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I had had serious relationships,
Yeah.
2 back to back at a pretty young age. And then so I was kind of newly dating in my early 20s, and just really unaware of other people's intentions, I guess. And I see this with even my female clients that are maybe divorced after
Okay.
20 years. They're
Yeah.
kind of in a similar position of like not really having dating experience, going back in and assuming um, that people are relationship minded and are pursuing some type of partnership with them.
I love that
Um,
you're saying this already because, that's interesting that you already said that because when you just said, um, that's how you viewed it back then because you were in relationships. And so for the very first time, you're like, okay, what is dating? I'm going to kind of get out
mhm,
there, get to know different people. I do see that also in, somebody that's already been married for a
mhm,
while and are on the dating scene again. I never heard it like that in the sense of
mhm,
how you said it. It was so simple how you said it, but that made so much sense to me. When you just said, when we're out, for the first time or second, whatever, going out in the dating scene, that we're already assuming, oh, this is good. This is good, Kimberly. It's
mhm.
so true. Oh my goodness, that was so good. You ladies, this is so good. She already said that. Oh, girl, we are ready. Oh my goodness, this is good. We are already assuming just because we're dating and getting to know someone that they also have that same type of mind frame, like, oh yeah, we
Mhm,
want to be in a relationship, but not everyone
mhm.
is looking necessarily for a relationship.
Yeah,
Or
or
whatever.
maybe they are,
Okay.
and they realize somewhere along the way that you just weren't it, like you weren't their person.
Wow, that's good too.
But like I was saying earlier, because maybe like they're getting something from the dynamic, they like you as a person, they like what you guys have going on. Maybe it's a little bit more of like a hookup situation for them. Um, they keep their mouths shut. They're like, I'm not going to say anything to burst this bubble because it's working for me,
It's
this
working.
dynamic. And again, it's not always malicious. Like there are sometimes where people are just they're definitely benefiting from the lack of communication, but they're not always out to get you and to hurt you and to
Yeah.
lead you on. Um, so I
It's just
wanted to
something
say
they're
that.
going through. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's just that person's insecurity of themselves too. I
right.
got
Or lack of
a
awareness,
lack of awareness. Yep.
lack of
That's
really
true.
knowing what they want. Maybe they're confused. So there could
Trying
be
to
a
figure
lot
it
going on
out.
that
Okay.
end.
That makes sense. Okay, so then you find yourself for the first time, like in your 20s, and you're thinking, okay, I'm
Hmm.
going to put myself out there, I'm going to date, and then what happens?
Oh gosh. So I um I mean, I was getting into like back-to-back situationships and
You
just like
were.
what is going on? I had already started working in this dating space. I was matchmaking, and
Okay.
so I was great at giving advice, and logically um I knew how to read dynamics pretty well. I knew how to advise other people, but it's so emotional. It's like you can't always use logic when you're in it because again, even the brain processes that are happening, like you start to get addicted, you start to really get hooked, especially And the women that are listening that have gone on date after date and you just feel disheartened, you feel like that person isn't my person, this person wasn't a fit, that guy was definitely not it. But then you meet that one guy that you have chemistry with, and they're almost hitting all of the marks. Like they're
Okay.
almost what you need, but not quite. But it's good enough. You really kind of, it's really easy to get hooked.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's kind of what was happening. I was dating a lot. And there would be particular people that I would have stronger connections with, like a lot of chemistry, and I would get hooked. And maybe it was my age and not having a lot of confidence with just initiating conversations, or just me not really knowing how to initiate that, because
Yeah.
there is kind of a stigma of like, if you bring up that you're looking for a relationship, the other person is going to think you're trying to lock them down immediately. This is what I hear from clients all the time, which, by the way, isn't true. And there's a way to go about it,
Yeah.
especially when you're dealing with another mature adult that is clear that you're not trying to lock them down within the first date, but still gets you clarity. And maybe we can touch on that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't having the conversations. I was totally assuming they wanted a relationship just because we were going on dates and getting closer, getting intimate. And then, a couple months in, I'm like, I should probably figure out what's happening here, because this is clearly not a streamlined path towards commitment. They are pulling back. I haven't heard from them, some weeks, and it's weird. It's weird behavior.
And how did that, truly, like I want the listeners to hear this. How did that, just as a woman, just as an individual person, how did that start making you feel, girlfriend?
Oh
When you were in
gosh.
those,
I mean,
yeah, like
it totally starts to, it chips away at your confidence.
yeah,
It makes you second guess your intelligence, I think, because you're
yeah.
like, how could I end up here?
What did I
How
not
could
see?
I?
Like, this doesn't make yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Feel like your worth, almost your worth, right? Like you feel like, what am I like? Well, am I
Absolutely.
worth this? Or am I worth more? I mean, I would, you know what I mean? Like I would think that, like it's all these emotions probably really start coming up, and it's it's
It's
hard.
hard. And
Yes.
that's, I think, why people kind of get stuck in this situationship loop where you're jumping from situationship to situationship, because it does totally chip away at your confidence and how you view yourself and your options and the type of people that you're able to attract and what you deserve. And so, I always like, if I'm working with someone that's just getting out of a situationship, we really focus on building back up their self-esteem and confidence,
Oh, I love that.
specifically with dating and just in general, because yeah, you really need to like figure out and get clear on what you want moving forward, and be really aware of the signs that someone is not looking for commitment, so that you can be discerning and um, vet and reject quickly, vet and get out.
When you were in these situationships, and you said you found yourself, you're like, I kept finding myself in these different type of situationships. Were they all kind of ending somewhat the same? Meaning like you would be with a guy, get to know him, get excited about him for a certain amount of time, and then usually you're trying to, kind of get a little closer to him, and then that's situationships, and that's when they start noticing that the guy starts, or the girl, whatever, whoever's in, starts pulling back, and that's
Yeah.
where all those confusions and everything starts happening, because what you said earlier, so they show up a certain way. So it sounds very manipulative, actually, right? Not the person that's wanting the relationship. It sounds like it's very manipulating the person that is not really being upfront, but just kind of leading the person on. Is that kind of what's happening overall?
Yeah, I think, yeah, to some degree. I think
Okay.
some people are just like unaware, and then some people are obviously benefiting from the dynamic and kind of understand that the other person, because I think at a certain point, if someone is trying to push towards commitment and get closer to you, you can sense it.
You can sense it.
You can tell. I
Okay.
mean,
Ladies, did
Yeah.
you hear that? Okay.
Like
We got
the men can tell. They know what you're trying to do. They know the types of conversations you're trying to initiate. They know that you're trying to get closer to them in certain ways. And so if they're keeping you at arm's length, that's on purpose, right?
that's
Like they're purposely trying to not let things progress in that direction.
well, let me ask you this. When I have talked to, certain, people and they're dating,
Mhm,
and, and as pretty quickly, as I talk to them, I find out overall if they're in a situationship or they're really dating a person that both of them are looking for long-term relationship, right?
mhm,
And when I have talked to the women that are dating and they're in these, situationships, Kimberly, they really feel that that's how it is now.
mhm,
They feel that, isn't that how it is? Like, you can't, like, it's really casual, and you just kind of see how it goes. I'm like, no, 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 no.
no.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Somebody help us here. I'm like, no, 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 no. Because I literally, they'll talk to me like, yeah, it's kind of like the thing now. I'm like, but how you feeling? They're like, oh, I'm not feeling good. I'm like, okay, but then that's not it. Like, that's not
Mhm,
it. There is an actual way to get to know someone and not being in a situationship. And there's an actual way to take your time with someone to see,
mhm.
if we're going to be in a committed relationship. How do, honestly, Kimberly, help us out. Like, how do we position ourselves differently as single ladies? I'm not single. I'm just speaking for my single ladies
Mhm.
right now. But how do we position ourselves if we are really wanting to we're looking for a partner? We're looking for a committed relationship. We don't want the wishy-washy. That's so wishy-washy. We're done with the wishy-washy. We want,
Mhm.
solid like a rock. Okay, so right, no wishy-washy. We want solid. Okay, help us out here a little bit. How do we start
Mhm.
breaking this down? What do we do?
Yeah, the first step is communicating what your intentions are.
Oh,
Um, that absolutely needs to be a conversation either before the first date or on the first date. Um,
that's good.
whether and there's ways you can bring it up.
Okay.
Obviously, you can say something like, um, I know what I want. I'm ultimately like dating towards commitment and looking to find my person. Where are you? Where are you at?
Oh, I
How
love
are
that.
you thinking about dating? Um, and so you kind of open the conversation and just give them a space to explain kind of where they're at. They'll either kind of agree and echo what you have to say,
Okay.
or they'll stutter, be confused, rambling over their words, really not know, or if they explicitly tell you, I'm not sure, that is not someone pursuing commitment.
Okay.
Because if you are, you absolutely know. You absolutely know right from the beginning. And I think what gets us in a trap is thinking we can get them there eventually. Once they fall for us, once they see how amazing we are, they're totally going to want to commit to us. Um, but if someone on the first date is telling you that they're not sure of what they want, or, or maybe in some roundabout way that they're not looking for commitment, you are starting from different pages. And you will always be in a position of trying to convince someone of your worth. And that's the most disempowered place you can be, in my opinion. Um, and so that's always going to be a dynamic that's struggling. You're never going to feel confident and be able to make clear decisions for yourself throughout the process. And so that's the biggest thing I tell clients is please get clear and have that conversation at least on the first date. Um, and then from there, obviously, people can say words. You have to evaluate how they're actually showing up, right? Are they consistent? Are they actually acting like they're pursuing a relationship? And what that looks like is they're carving out time for you. We're all busy, but they're carving out at least weekly time for you, unless they're on a work trip and absolutely can't. They're planning experiences with you. They want to experience life with you, not just in the bedroom, but actually going on dates and, going on like interesting experiences where you guys are getting closer and learning about each other in a new way. Maybe they're inviting you into their life with their hobbies or friends or family eventually. But if it's progressing towards a relationship, it's not going to feel start stop. It's not going to feel like a roller coaster. They're not going to be pulling back. Someone that is pursuing a relationship with you doesn't just abruptly pull back.
Okay.
It's very steady. And one of like the most interesting things I hear from clients, well, not interesting, because I always tell them like, you are going to get to this point where you say this to me, but they always say, I get it now. Like, this new connection is so obvious that they're pursuing a relationship. It is so clear.
Okay. Ladies, are you listening to that? That is so, you are so clear in saying that it is so obvious. If you're doing these things that you're talking about, that it's going to be so clear if someone is, you're going to feel it.
Yeah. It will not be, you will not feel confused.
Okay.
The person that you end up with, you will not be confused by them. Like my husband, for example, it was kind of a shift, to be honest, because I was in a situationship loop, I would say, where I was in these almost relationships. And on the first date, my husband brought up this conversation. And I was kind of taken aback, to be honest, because I don't know if I would have on the first date.
Your husband already sounds like a sexy man. He was Charlene. He's my husband.
He was so freaking clear about what he wanted. And then I think on the third date, we were talking about how many kids we both wanted and all of that. Like, it was so fast with that type of dialogue that I knew without a doubt he was looking for a relationship. Like, I had no doubt in my mind. And then our relationship just kept progressing and progressing in a natural way. And there was no weird pullback or me feeling unsteady with where he was at.
I really love that you're saying that. I really love that you're saying that, because when it comes to, we're talking today about romantic relationships. We're not talking about just friendships. We're talking about romantic relationships, right? So we're not talking about just meeting someone and we're just going to stay friends. No, we're talking about meeting someone and eventually, really having your best friend lover. That's what I always say. I said romantic relationships is having a best friend lover. It's both of this. And I love that you said that about your husband, because talk about some quick clarity. I mentioned this, Kimberly, I have 4 boys and they're older, and I'm an empty nester now and I have 1 girl. But one thing I've always told my boys, and I'm not, this is just me as a mama bear. And I always told my boys, and just me understanding, women and kind of men and, that kind of dynamics in relationships. You're going to love me for this, Kimberly. I remember telling them, just like your husband did, I said, listen, I said, when you are attracted to a girl and, and it's someone that you want to pursue, I said, you need to get to the point. I said, you need to be direct as a man, and you need to let her know, I would like to date you. Stop with, and that's what I tell my boys, I said, stop with this fluffy, as I called it. I don't know what you talking. Oh, these are my words. But I said, stop with the fluffy friend stuff. I said, you know what? I said, you're not looking for a friend. And, there's women out there that are not looking for a friend. They're looking to get to know you, to see if, yes, in time that you guys can, be in a committed relationship. And so I told my boys, Kimberly, I said, get to the point.
Absolutely. And for people that maybe are thinking, well, don't we have to be casual first? or develop a friendship first before we have those types of conversations? No,
No, she
because
said
you're
no.
no,
She's the expert.
no,
She said no.
no, period. because you're naturally, building that friendship and stuff along the way, but you need to have a clear container for where things are headed. Otherwise, you're just going to be wasting your time.
Totally.
And I mean, at least the people I work with don't want to waste their time. They're at a point where they're like, I want what I want. I know what I want. Maybe I don't know how, but I want to get there quickly. And the most powerful tool you can have while dating is discernment. I think utilizing your discernment, making quick decisions based off of what you know you need, and cutting people out quickly, especially before you start to get emotionally invested.
Oh, I love that. Let's break out with a step here. This is so good. Oh, this is so good. Okay. So for the single ladies right now, they're listening here and they're like, okay, ladies, I get myself in situationships all the time. Okay.
Mhm.
And you are starting to talk about how we can make sure we have discernment and we don't get ourselves in situations. Okay. So when it
Mhm.
comes to dating, right? Overall, when it comes to dating, if we are attracted to a person, let's say we go on a date, what does that kind of look like for us as women? Because I love that you said we can get to the point. Because ladies,
Mhm.
we should not waste time.
No.
Because if you ask, like Kimberly said, the right questions from the beginning, then that's going to help you. It's really going to set the tone. Yes, it's true what she said. Now, he might be someone that's just going to say what you want to hear. That's okay. But what Kimberly just said, you're going to find out pretty quickly because you're already setting the tone, right? His
Mhm.
words will either match his actions or not. So you're going to find out pretty quickly overall.
Yeah.
But if we are going on these dates, give us an example what that can look like. Like, I know we kind of talked about it already, but I want
Mhm.
women to actually have action here that they can be, okay, I
Mhm.
want to try this out. And then, of course, get into Kimberly's world because then she's really going to help you out. But when, right? No, but seriously, what does this look like
Yeah.
for us?
So before you even get on that date, I
Oh,
want you to do a full brainstorm of what you think you might need in a partner based off of what you know about yourself and what you know about past experiences and relationships.
oh, that's
And it's okay if there's like 100 words and qualities on that piece of paper. But I just want you to get it all out of your head and then pick your top 5 qualities that are absolute must-haves, not physical attributes, but things that you absolutely need in a partner or you will walk away. So that could look like healthy, clear communication.
love that.
That could look like, um, you know, kindness and charitable, stuff like that, where it's specific themes that
I
you're
love
working with. That will kind of give you a roadmap to ask the right types of questions, to look for those specific qualities, whether you're talking to them on the app or meeting them in person, before you even get to the date. And so you're already stepping into that position of being the evaluator. You're becoming the chooser,
Oh, I love
not
that.
yeah, not trying to get them to choose you, but you are now deciding if they're even a fit for you in your life. So that's before you even get on the date.
I
Now,
love that.
on the date, you're going to ask specific questions based off of your must-haves. And not like an interview, but you're going to start understanding if it's a fit. And then obviously, like we talked about earlier, definitely bringing up, these are my intentions. How are you thinking about dating? Um, and you see if there's alignment. Now, if they say, you know what, I'm not sure, you know, maybe I'm looking for something casual to start, you'd be like, that's fine. That's not where I'm at though. I'm looking for a commitment. I'm at a place in my life where I know I'm ready for that aligned partner, and it doesn't seem like we're on the same page here, and that's okay. And you can finish the date. You don't have to awkwardly or abruptly leave, but you finish the date and maybe it turns into like a friendship conversation, whatever. But you have to kind of sit in that discomfort at first of just initiating the conversation, ripping the band-aid off, and it becomes so much easier after you do it, maybe once or twice. But
So good.
yeah. And then from there, like we were saying, you evaluate, you get really clear on how you want them to be showing up. We obviously need consistency. We need them to be contributing the same amount of effort. We need them to really show up. And before you even start thinking about whether you want a relationship with them, you need to kind of allow yourself the preview of, and really understanding, taking their behavior at face value of like, this is who they are, right? Not what I hope that they're going to be like, right? Like, I'm not going to put them on a pedestal. I'm not going to kind of create the image of our future in my head. I'm really going to evaluate how they're showing up on a day-to-day with me, because that's going to be a preview of how they're going to show up in a relationship. Also, within the first couple of months or even first couple of weeks, people are on their best behavior. So if they're showing up with weird, behavior, push-pull, disappearing for a couple of days, and that's their best behavior, I don't think that's someone that you're gonna want to be with long term, right? Like, that's not going to be a dependable person. But we get in a trap with kind of creating the image, or like taking their best qualities or best moments and filling in the gaps of this dream partner in our head.
Right. Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think it was really important that you said, when you're going on these dates and you're getting to know the person and you're asking the questions, you guys got to ask the questions. That's the whole point. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Again, you're asking the questions. It's not like you're on a date and you guys are going to get married that night. You know what I mean? Like, and you got it. So it's cool. I mean, if you want to keep getting to know this person, of course, you want to know if even this person is even really into, like she said, if they're looking for a long-term relationship. But what I think is so, so important, another thing that she's saying a lot of things are important. But one thing I think that she said was so important too, was you need to meet people where they're at. Believe them. You guys, seriously, we have to stop thinking that we're going to convince or change a person. It doesn't work that way. People will going to show you who they are, and you need to believe them. And in time, like she said, even if the guy's like, well, yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of casual. Girlfriend, there are plenty of men out there. I am not even kidding you. There are amazing men out there. I think what's happening is too that we are not giving ourselves that space and time to slow it down, right? Like it's like, no, I got to have it now. I got to have it now. No, you don't want to necessarily have it now if it's not the right guy, because then you're going to end up in these situationships. So, Kimberly, thank you for saying that. You have to believe them where they're at. If a guy is honestly telling us, no, I'm not sure, isn't that clear right there?
Yep. And I will say, another thing that we don't always necessarily think about is the dating pool has a lot of avoidance. Now that could be a whole nother conversation, attachment styles, but there are a lot of avoidant men and women in the dating pool. And so that's even more reason to weed them out and to have these early conversations, because we need to get that clarity and weed out the people that are not capable of commitment, so that we can find the people that are ready and excited and can meet you there. And it will be so freaking obvious within that first conversation if they're thinking about a relationship too, because they'll be able to meet you right where you're at in terms of like how you're talking about it. They'll be able to offer up like their own vision and excitement. Like, you will feel that in that conversation.
You will feel it, right?
But a very practical little exercise, I think, is I like to give clients is, if you are like during the evaluation process, get out a piece of paper, write, like put a line down the middle, write on one side what I'm hopeful for, and on the other side what I appreciate about this person. And just start tracking, like write out like what you're hoping for, how you're hoping that they'll eventually show up, how you think they might show up if you were in a relationship, maybe, what you're still waiting for and haven't seen yet, and then what you appreciate how they're actually showing up now. And just really like check yourself. Okay, how long is my hopeful list? Am I creating all of this in my head? Am I giving them a little bit more benefit of the doubt, or are they actually capable of that? Have I seen it? Right, especially if it's been a couple months, you've seen how this person operates.
That's right.
Like you've maybe had a decent amount of experiences where you kind of know how they're operating and know what they're willing to invest at this point, and maybe even know what they're capable of. And so, yeah, like really, really pay attention to that.
I love that because you're really setting people up. But what you're saying is first helping them understand truly first, what is it that I'm wanting, and having those boundaries already ahead of time. So
Mhm.
understanding their boundaries, right? And really doing that work even before you go on a date. Just taking some time there. I love that. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Because if you're going into it already that way, that's really positioning yourself in such a different confidence, right? Because you're like, I'm
Mhm.
cool. You know what I mean? I'm cool. I'm gonna be open. I'm going to go
Mhm.
on this date with this guy. I'm going to give him an opportunity where to talk. I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to ask the questions, and I'm going to see what I got. And if the questions, are aligning with me, I'm open to that second date. We had a really good
Mhm.
conversation. There was something feeling good here. He also said that he's not, he's looking. He was very clear, ladies. He was very clear that he's also looking for a long-term relationship. So that's a good way to already, ladies, to protect yourself from the very beginning. Because what it is,
Mhm.
it's like that's the safety, protect yourself. Um,
Yeah.
that I love that. I love that. Because if we don't even know what we're going to be cool with or not cool with, that's how we're going to take it that's how we get in situationships too, because we
Mhm.
don't have that clarity. We don't have that
Yep.
clarity. Now I want to ask you something. I have a big belief on something. I just want to know what you think of this.
Mhm.
When it comes to getting into a relationship, being in a committed relationship, I want to tell you my theory on it, and I like to hear yours. Okay. So
Okay.
I feel wholeheartedly that if we are getting to know someone, and to me, dating is just getting to know someone. We're not in a
Mhm.
committed relationship. We're not committed to that person. We are getting to know them. So I have to come out with a different name. Okay. Anyway, but getting to know someone.
Mhm.
Now, if we're getting to know someone and it is progressing and there's the chemistry and they are, lining up, their words are matching their, words are matching their actions, and things are looking really good. We're meeting their people, we're seeing them in different situations. We had a little, because I don't really think you really, 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 really get to know someone until you have a little conflict. And conflict is just different, different opinions. Okay. Different opinions. We're not
Mhm.
talking fighting. We're talking just different opinions. You can kind of really see how someone shows up. So let's say we're doing all
Yeah.
that. I wholeheartedly, ladies, this is what I believe. I want to know what Kimberly says. I wholeheartedly, you are not in a committed relationship until the man asks you literally like this: will you be my girlfriend, or will you be exclusive to me? And then you ladies get to say yes, no. That's it. That, to me, I'm very clear on this. I'm like, you are not in a committed relationship until that other person, just like when we were in grade school, same thing, same thing. Because I think if we are not legit asking that person, not the girl, the guy can ask you, you just have fun having, getting to know the person. But unless you actually get asked, then I don't see how you're in a committed relationship. If you don't say,
Absolutely.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, talk to me about that, Kimberly. Let's talk about that. How do we know? You tell me your theory on that.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely need that clarity, because otherwise, again, it goes back to just assuming that we're in some type of thing. It looks like a relationship. It sounds like a relationship. I feel like we're in a relationship. But unless you've established that container together, it's not. It's just you kind of hoping it is something, right? Like both people need to have that verbal agreement of what it is. And absolutely, I think the guy should be asking.
And ladies,
I want that.
Exactly. And ladies, and let me tell you, you can have a little fun with this too. I just wanted to let you know something. You can have a little fun with this too, because sometimes, maybe he's not aware. He's so into you and he wants to be in a committed relationship with you, but maybe he's like, I'm not, do I ask her? Whatever. So you can always say this. If things are, like we said, we set the tone from the beginning. Okay. We set the tone from the beginning and things are progressing and you're really liking him and he's really liking you. And you're like, okay, is it time? I don't know if are we in a committed relationship, and something happens. You can literally joke. You can joke with him and play and play. You guys play. You can say, well, I don't have a boyfriend yet because I haven't been asked. You know what I mean? It's just a little cute.
I love that.
Right? I love that.
Yeah.
You can play. You can play with him. And then he'd be like, what do you mean? Go, well, you haven't asked me officially to be your girlfriend. Talk about dropping some nuggets there. Like he's going to be like, oh, okay. Because I think that is also a good clarity. That's a good clarity.
I love that. Because sometimes men need hints too, right? Like, especially if they haven't dated, maybe they're the ones coming out of a divorce and they haven't dated in years. You would be surprised at how clueless some of my male clients are. They really don't know what's appropriate, and a lot of them are scared about like modern dating. Like, should I let the like women pay too? Like, should it be equal? I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Like they're scared. Yes. And so sometimes you need to drop a little hint. But when we're looking at masculine and feminine dynamics, I really want you to also practice being in your receiver energy. Because a lot of times with situationships, because we're successful women, because we see a clear path of what needs to happen, because we know what we want, because of all the things, we start doing all the work for them. And we start like,
Kimberly, let's break that down. I really want to hear this because this is so good. You're saying this. Okay. So
yeah.
For the ladies out there, and I'm one of those. So for the ladies out there, let's call ourselves strong ladies. We get things done, and we're used to getting things done, and we can get things done. Okay, and I know that doesn't go with the matters of the heart. Okay, you know what I mean. That's why Kimberly's saying this right now. So for us ladies that I want you to break this down and tell us that are like that. We're more normally used to getting things done and making things happen. What do we do?
Yeah. Well, what we do is we start to ask them on dates. We start to kind of like initiate things progressing. We start to kind of fill in the gaps. There's a term I like to use, over functioning. We start to kind of do the work for them. And so a lot of times we get to a point where we don't even know what they've contributed, because we've progressed the relationship. Yeah, we've done it all. We're like in that doer energy. We've done the work for them without stepping back and really seeing like what they would do unprompted. How do they actually ask us out on a date? How do they plan a date without us suggesting logistics or just like doing the logistics for them? Right? Like sometimes we really need to step back, get out of our own way, and let them pursue, because and that again will tell you really quickly if they want a real relationship or not. Because with situationships, a lot of times like we're kind of convincing ourselves that they want something, but really it's us doing all the work for them.
I love
and
that
making it really easy.
Yeah, I'm loving everything you're saying. I love that you said that too. No, because if you are, again, looking for a man that's also in a position that he's really looking for a committed relationship too. And it's going to be, as she said earlier, very clear from the beginning. And that's one thing I do know about men, like legit. I'm a mom of 5 boys, but I do know this about men. When they are into you, ladies, when they're really into you, it is obvious. They will pursue you. They will literally move a mountain for you. You know what I mean? Like they will. And I love that she said, that's when we have this beautiful opportunity to learn and allow ourselves to receive. Because when it's basically just like that. It's just like, you know what? Let's see what's going to happen. If he calls, cool. If he doesn't call, okay, then he's not calling. Let's see how many days it takes for him to call, because that's going to show me a lot. So when you are allowing yourself to just receive and let go, you're really putting yourself quickly in a position to see how this guy, if he's really into you, pretty quickly, Kimberly. I love that.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're stepping into that the chooser energy of like really evaluating him and seeing if he fits into your life and like what he's contributing to the dynamic. Obviously, it's not just he has to do all the work and you don't ever have to like, give him a little bit, right? Like they're still human. They need some validation. They need to know that you're into them too. But yeah, they should be pursuing. And so, yeah, I love to say that because I know we're talking to successful, capable women that know how to get shit done. So really practice stepping into that receiver energy and just see what they contribute unprompted.
Yes. I love that. And that's why one thing too, I think when we are getting to know different people, one thing that I really love to say this, if again, getting to know different people is not a committed relationship. Okay. And so one position that I think is really important for women to understand too is when you are single and you're getting to know different people, get to know different people at the same time. Because you're not committed to anybody and you don't really know anybody until time goes by. That's just real. And so get to know different people. So, talk to Bob, talk to Charles, talk to Peter. I don't know. There we go. And again, just get to know them, get to see how, they're kind of showing up. Because you're, like she said, Kimberly said, you're going to know, you're already going to know the ones that you want to get to know even more, or you're going to know the ones that you don't want to get to know anymore. And then as time goes by, you're going to feel, you'll know if you slow down and you do this, you're going to feel who you're really, you're the one that's really leaning into. Because again, if we want to, this is why I have her on today. Oh my gosh, how did this go so fast? I haven't even got to my questions. That's not fair.
We'll come back. We'll do a part 2.
No. I'm like, wait a minute. We're doing a part 2 right now. No, I'm not going to give you that long. Hold on. Let me just look at this. I was just thinking something. You guys, I know this is so good. I'm like, I didn't even get to my questions. I was so excited. I had all these questions. Okay. But I asked you so many questions. Okay, hold on. Okay, what did I say here? Set of boundaries when they really like someone. What's the most powerful mind? Maybe I think I asked you this. I said, there was one here. I said, a lot of women struggle to set boundaries when they really like someone. What's one powerful mindset shift you can teach to help them stay grounded in their worth? I think we kind of.
That's so good. Well, piggybacking on what you just said, I think it kind of goes along with dating multiple people and not over-indexing on any one connection, because it's easy to kind of zero in on one person when you have that chemistry and it's like the best connection you've had in a while. We kind of feel like we need to make that happen, and we become attached to the outcome. Our goal is to make it work at all costs rather than sitting back and evaluating, being the chooser, really seeing if they're stepping up and deserve a priority spot in our life. And so I think a mindset shift is is really like talking yourself through it, coaching yourself through just that self-talk of like, do they deserve my time and energy? Like, is that person, are they deserving of a priority spot in my life? Like, I mean, and you're kind of embodying it. Like
Yes.
you are becoming, and when I say the chooser, I know I keep saying this,
Yeah.
but really I want you guys to pay attention to this because it's a completely different way of operating than going into a date and hoping that they like you or trying to convince them that they like you, right? When you're going in with the intention of seeing if they fit with you, you are going to be talking differently. You're going to be
Oh,
operating differently.
yes.
You are going to be able to actually like wait in the silence if they haven't texted you and come to that decision of like, they haven't texted me because they simply like didn't want to. Like there's nothing
Yeah.
else to it. They
Yeah.
just did not feel strong enough about the connection, and
Yeah.
that's that,
Yeah.
right? And like you really start operating differently. So embodying that evaluation mindset of like, do they deserve me?
Oh, that's so good, girl. That's good. It comes down to, I like to say, ladies, honestly, you're the prize. You're the prize. You're
Mhm.
the prize. You're the prize. And I love how she's saying that. It's not everyone is going to be worthy of your heart. I mean, come on,
Mhm.
seriously. And so it takes a special man, to be worthy of your heart. And he needs to. He needs to show you that he's like, oh girl, I'm into you. I'm going to show you because I really, really value you. He's going to show you. So I love that you said that. Thank you for saying that.
Mhm.
That was really good.
Yeah,
I love that because,
absolutely.
yeah, ladies, no, seriously. That's why we're having these conversations because you are worthy and you're worth it. And
Mhm.
you're worth a man that is going to look at you like truly you are the prize. And he wants to get to know you and he wants to take his time. And you know what? And that's another thing, ladies, let me tell you something. The right guy, he he will wait for you. He'll take his time. He's actually interested in you. Like legit you. He likes all the things about you. Yeah, of course. He's probably thinks you're the most beautiful woman in the whole wide world and all of that. And of course he wants more than that. But no, he genuinely wants to get to know you.
So good. Yeah,
So good. Oh my goodness.
absolutely. Yeah.
How honestly, as you're gonna tell us this, I'm gonna read my second question. I know I gotta get her out. How do we get into your world? How can women work with you? Because, like I said earlier in this conversation, truly, when we started out, there has been this huge dynamic of this is really kind of a normal thing now, but people are
Mhm.
not happy with it. I mean, I hear more and more often, it's not, there's no clarity. There's no clarity here.
Mhm.
And it's really, really affecting women. Come here, Snickers. And it's really, really affecting people. So, how do we get in your world? How do we work with you? Because I know there's so many more layers here. Because I know that it first starts with I know your work. You help women in so many different levels, and I know that this is just we're scratching the surface.
Mhm.
And I know we're scratching the surface, but how do they work with you? Seriously, Kimberly.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me. My socials is kimberlyrae.life. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And then I also have an online course, which is kind of like a situationship boot camp, essentially,
Oh,
to just shift you out of your patterns.
okay.
It's a quick course. So if you're like, I am stuck in these cycles, I need someone to just be like, do this and stop doing this, and kind of like how we were talking about today, that could be a good next step. But I work with clients. I love working with women that are kind of in this position and just navigating the dating scene. So yeah.
Oh, yes. Now you guys get into her world, honestly, because if you are out there and you're single and you keep finding yourself in the situation, look at situation because you're in a situation ship.
Exactly.
You know what? There's hope here, right? There's hope. It's really
Oh yeah.
it's a mind shift here. We can get back that confidence and that different awareness and discernment. Like that's what I love about all these conversations, because I want everyone to know, ladies, we are not stuck. Nope. We are not stuck. And just because you have been, let's say you have found yourself in this loop, like Lord, like the loop, the situationships. That's why I brought Kimberly onto the show today. Like legit. I brought her on the show because I want you to know that you're not stuck. And just because you keep finding yourself in that, there's ways that we can get out of that, right? And the first one is awareness, like you said. And again, what I don't want to let you go. So I'm going to ask you another.
Let's keep rolling.
Yeah, keep going. Hold on, I know awareness, but let me just look at my notes, and I'll bring you back, girlfriend. Seriously, because there's so much here. Let me just look at my notes before I know I really have to wrap you up, but just to make sure, because I was so okay. Hold on.
You're so good. You're so good.
Okay. You started with coaching and helping women to heal their dating patterns. So you started as a match. Okay, I already asked you that one. That's good. You talk about a lot of situations. What's the biggest sign someone's stuck in one, and how can they start breaking free? If they're in a situationship, and I know we kind of talked about that, and we talked about like the signs that you're in a situationship. We broke that down. So you guys remember, if you're listening to this right now, rewind this, because you kind of already broke that down, how to know you're in a situationship. Another thing that I was going to ask them, if they're starting to be aware of they're in a situationship, how can they get out of this?
Absolutely. So the first thing is, do not go to them and ask them, what are we? That's the number one thing. And I think that's everyone's like MO. Like that's kind of the go-to.
What are we?
What are we?
What are
because
we?
you do not,
Are we in a
you don't
relationship?
want to, exactly. You don't want the other person to define what the connection is, because if you're in a situationship, it's because it's working for them. They do not want a relationship at this point in time. Now, I will say things can turn into a relationship. With clarity, and you really kind of stepping into your power and telling them what you want. But in that conversation, it's not what are we, it's I've come to realize this is what I want in a connection. We're not quite there. I'm seeing inconsistency. I don't know where you stand. How are you feeling about the connection? And like, do you think we can get there? Right? It's like a very clear conversation of, this is what I want. I know that's not what this is. So you're not saying, hey, I want a relationship with how things are right now, because you don't want this to continue. Right? If you were to get into a relationship, they need to shape up and step up.
So you get really clear on what you want, and you tell them, I have come to the realization that I want a relationship. I want commitment. I know this isn't it. I don't know where you stand. I don't know how you feel about the connection. I'm seeing gaps here. Is that something that you're thinking about? Like, how are you thinking about this connection? Right. And you get clarity, you open the conversation.
I love that.
And then you outline what you're needing, right? If they want to stay in the dynamic, you're pretty much saying like, this is what I need and this is what I expect. And then you give it some space, and again, step into the chooser energy and see if they'll show up, and see if they can actually step up and contribute what you need.
I love that. I love that. No, that's really good. That's really good, ladies, because again, she keeps saying this. She said this in the beginning, in the middle, and there's a pattern here. I love the pattern. You know what? That's it. We have to be advocates for ourselves. We really do. We have to communicate and be able to have that awareness, that confidence, that discernment to communicate that, and let the chips fall where they fall after that. Because we're not trying to convince somebody to be with us. No. And remember, she said earlier, sometimes you can be with a guy and you can maybe be in a situationship, but you know, he doesn't know. He's a little like, you know, this is new to the dating game. Do I ask her to be my girlfriend? Do I not? Is that weird? It's like sometimes they don't know. So maybe when you do have that conversation, that will also be, it's not telling him what he has to do. It's just asking him where he's at. And that can be the clarity too.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's what you said. So sometimes you could be with the person and maybe it is kind of like a situationship, but once you have that conversation, if you're in that situation right now and you have that conversation, Kimberly, that's the clarity right there.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it does. It takes courage. You guys, we got to take some courage.
Mhm.
Right, get some courage here. Because you know what? Again, here we go again. Why waste time with a person for real that has no desire to truly build with you, build life with you, go in, you know what I mean? Be your actual partner, okay? Partner. Because that's the best part, you guys. Let me tell you something one more time before we get off this podcast today. Kimberly, honestly, I'm going to give you the last word after I talk. Thank you for today. You
Mhm.
are incredible. And I am so grateful you're doing this work. Seriously, I'm so grateful you're doing this work. But relationships, you guys, I want to say this one more time. This is why this is my life's work. Like, I'm so passionate about this because healthy relationships, they are so possible. That's what I truly talk about all the time. Healthy relationships is like literally being married to your best friend lover. And that's available for all of us. And I'm going to say this again. The majority of the people in the world, they're good people. The majority of the men out there are good men, ladies. And the
Mhm.
majority of the women are good women. And not everyone wants to be in this long-term. That's okay. That's not for us. If someone, everyone gets to do whatever they want to do. But the majority of the people, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
do want to have a beautiful, healthy, long-term, committed relationship to the day they die. Legit. Like legit. Okay. So that's why we're having these conversations. That's why we have, things that we can shift and we can do. So
Yeah.
thank you. Is there anything before we get off, I know that you want to say?
I think, and I just have this feeling that there's some women out there that need to hear this.
Yes.
You shouldn't be a match with every single person that you date. It is going to feel, you are going to experience more misalignment than alignment. And it should feel that way. And I know it can be just a little bit disheartening when it's date after date. And, again, it's someone that isn't quite a fit. But the person that you're going to end up with is going to be so special to you. They're going to feel familiar. They're going to feel like home. It's going to feel like, oh, okay, I know why everything had to happen this way because I finally found him. Like, this was meant to be. This is my person. And that's rare. So it should feel like you're going on date after date and it's not quite aligning. You should not be a mismatch.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind when you're dating. Keep going out there and just enjoy the experience of connection until you find him, because he's absolutely out there and he's going to want the exact same thing that you do. And you're just going to be like, Kimberly and Charlene, they told me that it's going to be so obvious, and it is. So
it is. And then please, when it's obvious, please, if you've heard this podcast and you're listening to this conversation today, I am not even kidding you. Kimberly and I both are tickled to death if you actually let us know. Like, reach out to us. Just say, you know what, you girls, oh my goodness, I know now what you're talking about. Kimberly, thank you. Thank you for saying, I don't know, I'm feeling choked up right now. Oh my gosh, I don't know why.
Yeah. Thank
you. I want women to know you are worthy and you deserve this beautiful love. And you know what? Yes, dating can be a challenge sometimes and it's a lot. But if you go in it already with what we've been talking about today, and you go in it, you're not going to waste time because you're going to ask the questions. Miss Kimberly said you're going to ask the questions early on, so we're not wasting time. Did you hear what she said? That's kind of cool. And we're going to go into it. We're going to just, have a different awareness of ourselves. So we don't have to worry about that. I love that she said that, no, not everyone is going to be your match. And don't go into thinking everyone's going to be a match. No. It is a special person. That's the best part.
Yeah.
And anything in life, worth something, you got to got to do the work a little bit and take your time and then it's like, it's amazing in the end. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. You guys get in her world. Thank you. Honestly.
Amazing.
To next time. Wow. Cheers to great love. If you're loving this podcast and these incredible conversations, please hit the subscribe button and leave a 5-star review. Don't miss an episode because each week I'll be bringing on guests and experts who will share their knowledge about love, dating, and relationships so you can apply it into your own life. I'll see you next week. And until then, cheers to great love.